What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. If you're new to XRP, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So I'm going to try to keep this video short and sweet. We will go over a little news later on, but first things first, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. XRP is at 45 cents. Now, I woke up a couple hours ago to a massive pump. I wanted to take the day off, but of course we know that we have to cover this. So right here, even since January 27th on the daily, looking on Kraken as one of the exchanges against XRP and the US dollar pair, we can see from that 24.5 cent wick area, we've gone about 80% up since then, and overall, the overall wick is roughly 110% plus. So it went from 24 cents to about almost 52 cents. Now, why am I talking about price? Well, specifically because we essentially have the ingredients for a perfect storm here. We know that the SEC lawsuit is scaring many people. On the majority of exchanges, US investors are unable to trade. If you have your XRP on, popular websites or platforms or apps like Coinbase, you're fine. You can keep your XRP there if you choose to do so, but you're unable to trade it. So links are in the video description for some other exchanges where you can buy and sell XRP still, such as bitrue.com, uphold.com, Gate.io, I suppose, KuCoin.com, a few options for you guys, and you can look at that on CoinMarketCap, go to XRP, and then look at the market pairings of, XRP to Bitcoin, XRP to US dollar, or to Tether, and see which exchanges have the best volume. Now, as a buyer that's anticipating to, obviously, buy a lot or sell a lot, I'm looking for high liquidity in these markets. So right now, we're bouncing between these 40s in the 40-cent range, and the question is, are we going to keep going? Are we going to pull back massively? What is going to happen? And my fear specifically is with the SEC lawsuit, I do not want them to use that huge Telegram group now that is over 30,000 people that are planning to pump the price of XRP coming up on Monday. I don't want them to be able to use that in any way against Ripple, the company, in this lawsuit. So we'll see. And I just think this market overall is as corrupt as it gets. And for that matter, it's all markets, people. I'm not saying it's the crypto market alone. It is the stock market, as we witnessed with GameStop this week alone. Is it only okay when hedge funds and institutional whales pump the market? And then when people take the power into their own hands, it's then fraudulent? It does not make any sense whatsoever. I'm trying to entertain a bunch of ideas, like, is this all part of the grand rollout and the plan? Take that with a grain of salt, but I do like to kind of entertain those possibilities as well. And it's just pure chaos. Now, regardless of what XRP does in the short term, could it explode? Yes. Could it dump? Yes. But what I'm anticipating, of course, and what I'm looking forward to is utility driving this market in the future. So then, when we pass $3, when we pass $10, once again, it's going to be sustainable. And we're going to actually have that liquidity to keep that price higher, less volatility, and actually solve real problems for real customers. So I know I kind of bash, shares and stock investing. And at the end of the day, the market cap of stocks is a fugazi. It's fairy dust, just like they say in The Wolf of Wall Street. It doesn't exist. This is artificial money. And we witnessed that when people were literally taking profits of GameStop shares, and it was naked shorting, literally taking money out of the system that did not exist because they're not on distributed ledger systems. So there's no accountability. The whales, the hedge funds lost billions, which is actually funny for once. And it's just a perfect example why we need blockchain and DLT overall to be that invisible protocol under the system that can govern it, that has accountability, and overall just allows transparency so there's actually trust for once. In a world where we need mutual trust, today we have mutual mistrust, and I think we have even more mistrust since the 2008 financial crisis. So, personally, I know the average viewer on this channel has been, buying and holding XRP for the past 3 to 4 years, I'd assume. And yes, we thought we would be past $3 or $5 or $50 by now. I'm right there with you, and this is so frustrating. But overall, we're seeing what we want to see from the companies, from the initiatives and year-over-year growth, and we understand that real-time payments is happening now. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. So I want to be properly positioned now, and of course, I have my XRP, my long-term holdings. I will not be touching it whatsoever for the years ahead. Now, I also believe that this year is going to be decision time, and despite the sentiment of people thinking that we're going to be down in the dumps forever, I do not believe that. I think we're going to be getting out of this mess once and for all soon, and yes, I absolutely hope this is it. But, I'm erring on the side of caution until we are out of the woods with this SEC lawsuit, when liquidity providers start making and taking markets once again, when the exchanges relist XRP in the United States. So keep that in mind. There's a bunch of stuff, and I want to talk about all the good possibilities, but there's still a lot of things that we have to be wary of. So I hope you enjoyed the video I did last night. If you have not seen that, please go check that out. I gave a lot of commentary regarding the SEC lawsuit, some people that had very high positions in the SEC. So it's not just my stupid commentary. It's actually people in the know that have served for the presidential administrations talking about regulation and the effect of XRP specifically. All right, keep in mind, Ripple, the company, they've been meeting with the SEC regularly. XRP is one of the longest living digital assets. Do I believe that it's going to see mass adoption and succeed on a massive scale? Yes, absolutely. Alongside with many other alts, Ethereum, XLM, many of the, the blue chip tier 1 alts, and there's going to be a plethora of others that are solving a variety of use cases. So I know I saw some comments the other day, because one of my big cryptos that I do hold as well is Algorand. People said, well, do you think Algorand is going to be a competitor of XRP in this? And to a certain degree, you could say that. But if you guys know the connections, Algorand is based out of MIT and the Algorand Foundation, and MIT runs an XRP validator. XRP right now with Ripple is aiming at the remittance cross-border corridors, whereas Algo is serving a bunch of purposes right now. Of course, borderless economies and that narrative of breaking down and allowing interoperability, but I think these technologies are much more complementary as well. Just like QNT, like ADA, like, VeChain, like Zilliqa. It goes on and on and on. So sorry if that's wishy-washy, but I just think that we're going to live in an environment where these digital assets are solving, a whole host of problems. Okay? So keep in mind, we're seeing this. It's all good and great. Emotions are high. I'm not buying XRP at these prices, of course, because, me, we've been accumulating for several years at as low prices as we can. But regardless, long term, it's not going to matter. These, prices of sub $1 will be surpassed, in my opinion. But the question is, do you have the mental fortitude to hold on and endure? And keep in mind, investing, you don't need a high IQ. It really just comes down to psychology. And I still make mistakes to this day. It's frustrating, but hopefully it will lead to some very, very big things in the future. You can draw a variety of trend lines just here, just kind of looking at stuff right now if you guys are curious. Some sloppy trends, and you can, play some things and see if we can come up to this next level. I know I was watching it earlier when we were around 35 cents. And of course, the typical points of resistance and support, if you break, 38 cents, you'd probably go to 46 cents than we did. If we break 46, you'd probably come up a little higher. And of course we did. So we'll see. I do not want this pump to stop. Believe me, guys. So when I talk about, pullbacks or lower prices, I'm entertaining those possibilities because I've literally witnessed a 3-year bear market with you guys of manipulation, price swings. XRP was at 92 cents on Coinbase in 2020. Everyone said, this is it, we're going to $3. And I just was like, I was kind of just quiet and prepared for the worst case, of course. And boom, we filled the gap at 17 cents, of course. What are the odds of that? Closing a gap? And that's one of the things I believe. And of course, we closed the gap, snagged a little bit down there, and now I'm waiting again. So investing is super, super boring. It's fun when these times come, but it's just, I just do not think that we are out of the woods quite yet. Now, I hope the fun keeps going, and I'm curious what the implications are of this pump group. If you guys want to pump it, awesome, but I'm looking for sustainability. If we go to 60 cents, I want to stay there. I don't want to come down to 30 cents or 40 cents the next day or next month. I want to keep growing and have higher highs in this market. So that's just me, all right? So let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Overall, I know you guys want, essentially just hopium in this video. And I absolutely will turn incredibly bullish on this market, specifically XRP, obviously, because other alts are doing very well. But I'm going to turn a lot more bullish when there's liquidity providers. Market makers are returning, exchanges are reopening, and we want to just position ourselves wisely. So I'm not condoning that anybody tries to sell XRP at 40 or 50 cents and tries to buy back. That is just so stressful. Then you're hit with short-term capital gains. Unless you have a trading bag, that's a whole different story. But For the typical person, you could be losing sleep at night. And is it really worth it? Is it worth it to improve your position by 20% or 50% if you're going to be freaking out, biting your nails, watching the chart all day? I think I have like 30 texts on my phone right now, but I wanted to do a video first. Hopefully, people can just look at my Twitter or something, but we're just going through this, guys, and I'm trying to answer everybody, and I'm learning with you. So we will absolutely see. So we're going to keep going here. A bunch of stuff occurring. So essentially, equity capital, guys, and I want to show you some recent news as well. So please stick around. Equity capital, FYI to the world. In the future, there will not be a conventional equity stock market on one side and a crypto market on the other. All will be tokenized, decentralized liquidity, or decentralized and liquid. And of course, there may be actually decentralized liquidity pools, as we see with DEXs, decentralized exchanges. And of course, DEXs are actually an inherent feature of the XRP ledger. Wow, what are the odds? So the rise of trustless systems has only just begun, and we're going to give you an actual example of that occurring too. And these are unassailable facts. Love this gentleman, always good posts as well. And then right here, before we go over the recent news, we have Phil, and just talking about this recent interview as well. So this is Jeremy Hogan. He's actually a lawyer, and he's giving a lot of commentary on the SEC lawsuit specifically for XRP. He seems to be on XRP's side, giving the good, the bad, and just really spilling, the beans and kind of just giving us a bunch of insight from the, lawyer side of it. Very, very insightful. Kind of a lot of the things that I did read off of, Ripple statements as well yesterday in that video, giving you actual sound evidence of people that were high-level SEC officials as well. So very good. Highly recommend checking it out if you guys want to just type in, legal briefs or Jeremy Hogan XRP and just listen to that if you get a sec. All right. Now, so we have SBI Holdings. They are a massive shareholder of the company Ripple and, of course, R3. Now, the CEO, Mr. Katao, out of Japan, is a huge, huge bull for XRP, as we know, and he wants the ecosystem of Ripple to succeed. Well, now they're launching with SMFG, one of the largest organizations per market cap, and we're going to show that specifically, to launch a digital securities exchange in 2022. Well, it's funny because we were just talking about this, where conventional equity stock markets and crypto markets could essentially merge and be one of the same. Now we have even Bitrix.com listing all the stocks that Robinhood is delisting. So notice that, of course, exchanges are centralized. It's kind of hypocritical that we talk about crypto and using decentralized protocols, yet we have to go on a centralized website or platform to buy said crypto, or at least most people do. Well, the idea is it's going to be changing, and decentralized exchanges will hopefully improve in terms of overall liquidity and cost, and then, no more gas fees and all of that. So it's happening in front of us every single day, and institutions are paying attention to this. They cannot keep fighting this, and those that are early are going to capitalize off this unbelievably. And as we always say on this channel, trends are your friends, so position yourselves accordingly. All right, so SBI Holdings and SMFG to launch a digital securities exchange, and this just came out. So notice right here, SBI is building a digital stock exchange in collaboration with Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group. According to Nikkei, the new digital securities exchange is expected to be the first Japanese exchange trading digital stocks using blockchain tech. And I know you guys are going to say, what does this have to do with XRP? Stick with me. Notice SBI will have a 60% stake in ODX, while SMFG will own 40%, the report states. Good, so SBI has the majority stake right there. That is something good that we noticed right there. And we're going to keep going. And now remember, this happened in April. SMFG, which is Japan's second largest financial institution by market cap, as we just said, will reportedly sign an agreement with SBI Holdings, a Tokyo-based financial services company, in order to provide digital banking services via devices. Now, we've talked about all of the mobile applications that SBI and MoneyTap and all of the new changes have been occurring. So very interesting to consider that. The fund may also invest into fintech, financial technology, blockchain and DLT projects, and 5G technology. SBI is well known for supporting XRP. Obviously, we have Mr. Katao, the CEO of SBI. He joined the board of directors too, and we've heard him time and time again. Now, this may not happen, but he has talked in video that we've shown on this channel that he would love for R3, the big boy Wall Street money, of course, and they're partnered with the NASDAQ, FYI. They're the Lehman boys. They're wealthy as it gets. Trade finance, capital markets, all right? And Ripple, and he wants to create synergy between these ecosystems. First step of the plan, get XRP to essentially dominate the remittance corridors with the company Ripple, and then eventually as it becomes more liquid, what happens? The price raises, again, more volume, and what happens when the price is higher? It can send higher transactions. So it's the snowball effect, and it becomes more and more valuable, more and more powerful, and the sky is the limit with this technology, and it is in everybody's interest of a valuable network. Again, higher valued XRP makes it more expensive for DDoS attacks on the distributed denial of service side. So it makes the network a lot more robust and essentially hack-proof, you could say. And it would cost anybody that's trying to do DDoS attacks more money. Then we also have the minute burn rates of XRP, which statistically makes market makers more profitable. So now more market makers are going to want to come to this market like ever so it's like barely ever, so more profitable than losing money. And then it's going to create a very competitive ecosystem for foreign exchange traders. So you can go into every single market. We've already seen that the FTX and these derivative products that are being built are all integrated. So remember, do not call us lucky. I think it's still going to be a bumpy road and a ride to get there. But overall, guys, those that are actually setting and forgetting, doing their research now, and as we say, it's fun to look at the charts, it's fun to trade, but sharpen your sword, level up your knowledge in this ecosystem, in trading, in technology, whatever it takes, while you are simply waiting, all right? So, we talked about that. Of course, we will keep an eye on this. And now I want to give you some commentary from one of the best guys on Ripple, or at least on Twitter, Wrath Economist. So we talked about SBI and SMFG launching in Osaka to compete with the TSE. And this is going to be launching in spring 2022. So what does this have to do with XRP or Ripple? Nothing explicitly, but as the 60% partner in the exchange, it's worth watching to see if SBI, also a Ripple investor, by the way, might entertain XRP for settlement in some capacity with a fully digital blockchain-based stock exchange. Now keep in mind, this is not just pure speculation, because we've already heard Kitao talk about utilizing XRP for even domestic side if it becomes more liquid. And yes, I know that sounds ridiculous, but more specifically, the cross-border side. So there's plenty of corridors in Southeast Asia that are expensive or do not have direct pairings. We even see being built, of course, live, like the Philippine peso, but I'm talking even the Thai baht out of Thailand. We're talking about the rupiah, the rupee, the Singapore dollar, which is going to be another on-demand liquidity corridor, and that is literally flowing through XRP. I just cannot ignore those fundamentals and understanding even a Ripple getting in the lending. They have a new job posting for lending, corporate lending. Line of credit specifically uses XRP for lending, guys. So this is demand out of thin air. What happens with interest? Demand out of thin air. That's what the U.S. banking system does. So it's fractional reserve banking. So now Ripple's going to obviously capitalize doing the same thing, actually helping these small and medium enterprises scale accordingly. And they don't have that advantage today with the monopoly of the cross-border market like JP Morgan running things. So Ripple's literally like a wrecking ball, leveling these tier one banking infrastructure and allowing innovators and the people that need it most to actually have opportunity in this ecosystem. So that is something I can absolutely support. All right. Here's Mr. Kitao, just so you guys know, when they welcomed Kitao to their board of directors back in 2019. And I just encourage you guys to just go watch videos of this gentleman. Absolutely, just an absolute genius. It's all in Japanese, so you'll have to read some subtitles. But of course, just kind of like the Japanese term kaizen, continuous improvement. They're just very, very smart. And I love the concept of synergy that he does often speak about. Right. Also, remember, we have Japan, we have the United Kingdom, we have Singapore, we have other G20 nations that specifically said XRP is not a security. So we have literal global regulators saying this. We have the World Economic Forum hosting Ripple at Davos each and every year. The 1% of the 1% working on net zero carbon emission goals and, SDGs and all of this. And you guys really think XRP is not going to succeed? Interesting. And the typical guy, they're going to go, oh, I thought XRP was a scam because I read a headline once on Twitter where they said Bitcoin was better. They don't even understand the technology and they don't even understand the correspondent banking network and what essentially is being aimed to be displaced right now in this era. One of the biggest transfers of wealth that has ever occurred. Same concept. They said in the early 2000s, do not invest. This is on the news and you can go watch articles. I've shown them in this video of like early 2000s. Do not invest in Apple or Amazon stock. in the early 2000s because these internet companies are very volatile, using silly jargon to confuse the, everyday person to sell out, just like they did with Netscape. And then what happened for 2 years when prices were low? They had the highest level of institutional accumulation of those shares than ever before, right before the big wave of institutions comes in. So I am buying when people lose faith. I'm buying when people doubt the investments. That makes me more bullish and believes in the asset even more. And yes, I've made mistakes along the way, but we are absolutely getting there. So Japan's FSA, we can talk about the Financial Conduct Authority out of the UK, all of these groups, and here's a quote, has made it very clear that XRP is not a security. I'm optimistic that Ripple will prevail in the final ruling in the US. SBI Holdings remains a steadfast partner to Ripple and looks forward to expanding together in Asia. That's a quote from Mr. Katao. So I believe that he would absolutely be happy to have Ripple implemented in some type of cross-border remittance ecosystem or with the applications throughout Asia. Words mean things, people. And yes, he believes in XRP. Why does he want XRP to go up in value? Because he's a massive shareholder of the company Ripple. Ripple's company would absolutely explode in value per XRP's value as well. Just tons and tons of obvious things, okay? So just wanted to share that. Next, XRP Crypto Wolf. Follow him if you are not already doing so. We're almost done here, guys. Please stick around. Union Square Ventures expects to invest around 30% of its new $250 million fund in the crypto industry. Don't need to bore you with the details. Just understand a lot of these projects are going to be blockchain based. All right. Already talked about that. 30% of the crypto investments, was just reading quotes there. Right here as well, XRP Patience, guys. Great YouTube channel if you want to learn some basics about Ripple and XRP. Consider, central banks keep working with Ripple to create central bank digital currencies, digital versions of fiat like US dollar, pesos, etc., using the XRP ledger with XRP as the bridge currency between those two assets. This requires a high-priced XRP to handle the liquidity. The higher the price, the higher the value it can send, things of this nature. So it would benefit it. And a higher price asset essentially means that it can be a lot more liquid, sending higher value. Why would they do this if they thought the SEC would destroy XRP's price indefinitely? Well, 80 to 90% of Ripple partners and 80 to 90% of the actual volume and money flows are outside of the US. So Ripple has already said it does not matter what the US does. We're going to leave if it is, unfavorable. So they already have their regional headquarters in Dubai. They have offices in London, in Singapore, in Brazil, one of the BRICS nations, central to their ODL strategy. Japan, if I haven't already said that. Just everywhere, guys. Global, global, global. Notice Ripple GM discloses meetings with banks to issue CBDCs. No surprise, we've talked about this, just wanted to point that out. We see Ripple, another job posting out of San Francisco, lending. If you guys watched that recent interview of Ashish Birla, I think it was very, very telling what their plans are for their customers. Actually listening to them, not just making up solutions that don't exist, something that will be adopted and used in helping real customers scale. And as that occurs, Ripple partners will have success stories. They'll be able to compete with the likes of Western Union. Then what happens? Western Union users and competitors will have to join either, Ripple or try to create something out of thin air that's already been developed for quite some time. Why do I think XRP will succeed compared to others? Network effects are just one of many points to consider. People can, create a new technology out of thin air that can settle, in 2 seconds instead of 3 seconds. Absolutely. But can you get proof of concepts and 60 million plus ledgers successfully closed without a single error? Can you use a consensus mechanism that is perfect for this use case? Yeah, I'm kind of doubtful, and that is why I'm putting my money where my mouth is and following this money, and essentially trying to beat the money as well, the big institutional live flows. So yeah, we can follow the money, but I want to beat it as well. All right. Then also, we have an e-commerce marketing manager for Ripple that's being hired. And to call it a day, I'm not going to go over this, but we've seen all of this. So Michael Val 5 links, definite follow on Twitter. The Indian government, BRICS nation, is introducing a law to ban all private cryptos. Keep in mind, guys, in the past 3 or 4 years, India, the country, has had articles saying we are banning cryptocurrency. It's happened about 6 different times, and then prices pump usually. So take it with a grain of salt. But yes, private cryptos, this is what a lot of governments are doing. If they do hit all the on-ramps, it could lower the price. But again, we're seeing, ZEC, Zcash, we're seeing Monero not really care and still diversify. But then we're looking at Grayscale, a huge investment trust, starting to get trusts in Monero as well. So we're seeing conflicting points of view. We will see. I think the friction could create some big moves. Nonetheless, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Links are in the video description. Be sure to like this video, and I will see you in the next one.